Hey Rosebuds, it's your girl Night Airy Rose, and welcome back to our winter healing series. We are on our last episode of this series, and I'm just so thrilled because we have reached the end, the conclusion of such a deep and profound moment and experience and journey for not only myself, but hopefully for someone out there that's been listening and watching from the very beginning. So with that being said, I'm just going to get right into it. Episode 7 is entitled Preparing to Bloom, Becoming the New You. So I think with any season, you go through a transformation, just like a butterfly going through its metamorphosis, or a caterpillar going through its metamorphosis to becoming a butterfly. We all go through our different stages. And so being that this is the stage or the last episode, which kind of signifies completion for me, I don't want to go and draw this out. I just want to emphasize some things that have been on my heart and mind since the last episode that I made. Granted, since the last episode, life has cranked up a notch for me. Things have hit me way harder than I expected. I've been tried and tested in ways unimaginable and unbelievable. But here I am, still smiling, still strong. So what that says to me and what I want to say to you is, do not succumb to your obstacles and your challenges. Rise above them. Figure out ways in which you can, kind of pit maneuver and reframe what you need to do or the expectations that have been placed on you. I know I've seen people kind of, posting about what's happening in the world more so, especially because last episode we touched on topics like ICE, and then following up with that we had the Super Bowl, and there's just so much traffic that's happening in our algorithms to where the spirit of confusion is amongst us. We have to stay ready. Of course, we have to stay vigilant. We need to remain observant of our surroundings. And we also need to keep God first. Like, keep the Most High first at all times. Just because with these negative forces or negative frequencies, the overall goal is to take you out of alignment. The overall goal is to trick you and confuse you and get you in the spirit of chaos, so that you do not reach your purpose, you do not reach your divine spiritual self, and ultimately you just become part of the machine. And so with that being said, I want to talk about intention during this episode because intention is so important, it's so profound and so powerful. When you set a goal, a plan, or you aim to achieve something and you aim for something better than what your current state is, yes, that's uncomfortable. I just want to say that any type of change, especially when things are happening to you, not necessarily from your own doing, but your back is against the wall. We talked about bills and bills piling up, and just maybe your relationships are kind of like cracking in a sense. Family dynamics may be shifting or changing for you. Maybe work is kind of changing in a way that you're kind of questioning, should I be here? But then also maybe you feel like you have no other options or you have nowhere to go because of the current state of society right now. Irregardless, you need to be consistent. You need to have a plan and you need to set an intention for yourself, because yes, the Most High laughs at our plans. Every time we try to set a plan or we say that we're going to do something, especially when you prematurely speak out your blessing to other people, the Most High will shift that for you at the snap of a finger. So it's kind of just like you still have to be silent. You still have to do the groundwork. You still have to put that work in. Nonetheless, though, you need to at least have these goals, have these motivations, have these intentions so that you can see the fruits of your labor, because it might not happen as according to plan, but it will happen. Something that I noticed within myself, just past self, I used to create fantasies. I used to fantasize about different realities and scenarios. And of course, I was let down at times just because I put people on a pedestal, or I put places that I wanted to go on a pedestal. But I had to check in with myself and just say, was I really doing the work to kind of reap the fruits of that? Like, was I doing the work that would have aligned with the fantasy that I was creating? And the answer is no, I wasn't. And we often procrastinate. That's just our nature sometimes. And sometimes we're lazy, and it's okay to be lazy. But constant immobility, constant stagnation will not get you to where you want to go. And so I say all that to say, for today, our core symbolism for this episode is that the rose prepares its buds, getting ready for the coming season. And I'm just so excited because spring is near. Like, spring is right around the corner. And as the rose is preparing its buds, getting ready to bloom into that beautiful, full-formed rose, you have to know that this winter season, is coming to its end. It's been cold. It's been treacherous. For some, it's been the most difficult time of their lives, of your life. Maybe you've been going through so much behind the scenes, things that you can't really tell to other people because they just simply won't understand. And I want to say that for all of those who have been silently struggling, maybe not even silent, just struggling in general, calling on people for help and not getting what you need, keep going and keep pushing through, because this is just the beginning. Remember, we're coming out of the winter season and we're entering into a new season. And when you enter into a new season, something spectacular happens. It's like a recharge. And given that, we understand that we have these distractions in our face and we have all of these obstacles pulling us in these different directions, that does not mean give up. I always talk about how when I do a project or I'm beginning something or starting something, there are times where I've taken a break or I've paused. And I used to not recognize the fact that in the moment of my pause, I would believe that I was quitting or that I have failed, or I didn't understand my body, my mind in the way that sometimes it's okay to just chill. Like, even when you're goal planning, setting an intention, it's okay to take a seat and just reflect, because it's all about refinement. We've been reformed already. Sometimes we're in our reformation of wanting to change and amend and fix ourselves. But when you come to the realization that you have to love and accept yourself as is, your authentic self, unperformative self as is, and it's just you and only you, it's okay to not want to change yourself so drastically, but that's why we call it refinement. You're fine-tuning little things about yourself to elevate yourself and position yourself to the next best thing or the next chapter or the next season. And so I hope that this winter healing series has been a blessing to someone. I hope that it's helped someone just kind of realize that it's not all your fault. Everything is not just entirely your fault. Even your shortcomings, they're not just because of your past or the labels that people have placed on you, the judgments that people have put onto your life, the curses. People have cursed you. People have cursed me, and in ways seen and unseen, to where You don't even realize sometimes the bad behavior that you exuded may not have been entirely on you. That's not to not take accountability for some of our wrongdoings and shortcomings. But if you knew that behind that failure, someone was preying on your downfall, you would give yourself a lot more grace just having that information. And so when you are planting your seeds to better your future, to better your life, to better your family, your career, whatever it is that you are crying at night about, whatever it is that you just feel like, why is this not happening for me? This is the brink of the breakthrough. This is the point of no return. This is the point where it's too late to kind of turn around. And if you do turn around, there are going to be some serious ramifications behind that. I had a spiritualist tell me a while ago, I was commenting on their TikTok and I just said, I want to give up so bad. No one's watching my videos. I don't have enough people watching my videos. I don't have enough people engaging with my content. That spiritual person said, think twice before you just delete or deactivate. Think twice before you just disappear and you stop putting out that content, because you might be causing more damage by quitting than just pushing through. And that's the beauty of being a creative, is just being able to adapt and readapt and create and discard some creations and keep some creations, and just keep your mind moving, keep your mind thinking, keep your mind active. That is what we have been pretty much created to do. We have been created to create. So if you're not in a creative space, think twice about why that is, what's happened to you, what's stifling you. If you haven't looked at those rose care practices that I post on my newsletter, maybe you need to just go ahead and do that. And even if you don't want to do that, Google shadow work prompts and just think about how much you may be suppressing. Because it's one thing to forget, but it's another thing to suppress, and those are not the same. There has been a deep, horrifying trauma that has happened to millions of people, unbeknownst to us, unbeknownst to our parents and our grandparents. And so I have the utmost grace in my heart right now, just because with all of what's happening and all of what's being illuminated, especially in social media, especially with how we've grown up and how we've been raised, and conversations about religion and politics and our educational system. All of these conversations are good. They may be jarring. They may cause fear. You might be questioning certain things, but we are becoming connected again. Like, I just feel it in my spirit that some people are being awakened, or they are right now awakening. You have the youth out here doing their own research, calling things out, being beacons of hope and change, and saying, you know what? That might have worked for them, but that's not going to work for me. And so we are starting to kind of just come together collectively and hold hands and have that prayer circle that we also need, because we know misery loves company, and a lot of people love to chat and gossip and talk about other people. And while it's not okay, sometimes people just gossip out of fear and to kind of take the pain off of what they're already going through. And so, being that social media perpetuates the spirit of gossip and the spirit of comparison, don't get lost in the sauce. Don't get lost in that noise. And I say this all the time, but just be mindful. What is it that you are here to do? Even if you can't answer that question, start setting an intention, figuring out what it is that you were designed and called to do. Think about all of the moments that brought a smile or some sort of joy to your heart. Think about all the times where you thought you belonged somewhere. What space was that? What were you doing? What was happening? And then how can you use those moments of opportunity to create opportunities for yourself? Even when you think that things aren't going according to plan, things are being removed or taken away from you, rejection is protection. And that brings me to my point of when you are preparing to bloom and you are becoming the new you, you have to know that it's okay to organize your thoughts. It's okay to set intentions and goals and to affirm and even manifest. Manifestation is such a powerful thing. I think with this new awakening and this new becoming of ourselves, we are relearning and unlearning a lot of different things. I say that just because there was a time when we were in COVID and quarantine where people were talking about, new age religion, and coinciding that with witchcraft. And while some things are in fact witchcraft, while some things are in fact not for you to be playing around with, and I had to learn that for myself, there are some things that you can still do. It's okay to manifest and to speak out into existence. Heavenly Father, I want this for my life. I want these things for my life. Sometimes I say Heavenly Mother too. I give respect to the maternal and paternal sides of things because that is balance. And what you have to seek out for yourself is balance and clarity. Your ego is going to be tested more than ever. I see this all the time. My ego is tested every time I go to the gym. When I go to the gym, especially if you go to Planet Fitness, if you know, there's this big sign that says no judgment. But every time I walk in there, I feel like everyone's judging. As soon as I walk in, I'll see 3 people turn their heads to look at me. And I'm just like, oh boy, here we go. But sometimes you have to use that as fuel. Sometimes you have to use that negativity, those monitoring spirits, as a lesson, as discernment, as motivation to go to the next level, to elevate. And even though it sounds challenging, I had someone at the gym just the other day come right up next to me on that treadmill. And especially like when you know that there's empty space around you and somebody just decides to come right next to you, it's just crazy. It's like, why? But it's a lesson. It's a lesson. And I'm just giving you these mini lessons because you have to use them as a powerful moment to cultivate change. That is the refining lesson that you need, that the Most High is showing you to say and acknowledge if you are ready. And so this person was next to me swinging their arms and doing stuff and kind of just trying to invoke fear. And so I just took that and I said, you know what, you could be doing all of that, but you can't keep up with me. And I used that motivation to do what I needed to do on that treadmill. And I had a good experience. I've had people outside of my home throw trash in front of my house. And as frustrating as that is, and it's just kind of like, how dare you? How could you? Why just this specific place do you want to exude this bad behavior? But I look at it as a lesson, just to keep pushing and to not tap into that lower frequency, that lower vibration, because it's so easy to do. People will get you riled up. The enemy is everywhere sometimes. And I don't say that to scare you. I'm just saying that to prepare you. A wise man once told me, proper preparation prevents poor performance. And if you prepare even just in the slightest way, you can change the trajectory of your whole future. You can change the trajectory of your whole future just by being properly prepared. You want to ensure that if someone does not have your back, someone does not come through, and maybe even just before I recorded this episode, I lost, or I would say I misplaced something essential to my recording this episode. But I did not let that deter me from my mission. We have a mission to complete. And anytime you notice something gets misplaced, someone's attitude shifts, something happens to where now you're starting to question yourself and become confused, adapt. You need to adapt. You need to pit and maneuver and figure out, what am I going to do to see this thing through? And so just with the misplacement of my item, I said, well, you know what? I have another item that's exactly the same. I'll go get that one and I'll find what I need later, because nothing is going to stop me from getting this message out. I do not want to, for this particular episode, being that this is the last episode for this winter healing series, I don't want to talk about celebrities. Not this time. I feel like the celebrities and their actions, it speaks for itself. What I do want to say is shout out to all of the content creators right now that are pushing the word of God. Shout out to everyone who is kind of just coming together in faith and solidarity and clarifying the harm that's been done to our people. I want to talk about so much more, and I will, because this is just the beginning of my season. I wanted to do this because not only did I need this and need this for my healing, but I know that somebody else needed this. I know that somebody's probably going through 10 times worse than what I'm already experiencing. And just based on what I've been going through these past couple of weeks, I did not think that I was going to make it, even with what's happened to me. And I'm just grateful to be alive and to be okay and to have my health intact. But when things happen to you that you just can't explain, when things happen to you suddenly, unexpectedly, it does something to your heart. It does something to your heart chakra. You might feel that there's no point of return. There is no light at the end of the tunnel. But let me just say something about lights, okay? Because I had a spiritual message just earlier this morning. I walked outside and I saw a moth to the right of my door, and the moth was close to my light. I have an outside light, and I know that moths are attracted to light. And I only say this because before seeing the moth outside by the light, I saw the moth inside my house kind of flying around. And I make sure to do my best not to unalive the insects. I think insects are so beautiful and so mysterious in their own way. So going back to this moth, I had to look it up. I said, why is this moth by my door just chilling? It's been around my house for a few days, and it's near the light, not on the light, but near it. And so the message that I got in spirit told me that moths represent transformation. And that moths also signify, getting closer to the light and the light that the Most High has brought you to. But do not be mistaken. Not every light is good. Not every light at the end of that tunnel is meant for you to be drawn to. Sometimes when you come to certain lights and certain opportunities, it is for your discernment and awareness to take notice of what's happening around you. But that doesn't mean you have to fall into the trap of what that light has to bring or what that light has to offer, because not everything that glitters is gold, and we've talked about that. So I just say all that to say, keep setting intentions, be positive, stay motivated, stay active, be creative, and also be humble. Just like when I was going through what I was going through at the gym, I still have to know to have humility, because life and just people in general can be so dangerous. And you might think, as a protector and a defender of self, that you ready to crash out, or you're ready to turn up, or you got the smoke. But you have to proceed with caution, because somebody might just match your crazy. And we don't want to keep losing people to evilness and to darkness and to basically bad behavior. I don't want people to be misguided or misled because that's already happening. So many people are being confused. So many people are being misguided. People's demons are being triggered more than ever. And you want to have sympathy and you want to empathize with these people who are going through what they're going through. But then you don't want to be pulled in. You don't want to be sucked in to that darkness. And so it's going to take some guts. It's going to take some bravery. But no matter what you're going through, you are a survivor and you're not going to give up, okay? But I say all that to say, keep surviving, keep striving, keep pushing forward, keep being bold and brave. For today, our lesson is you don't have to bloom today. Preparation is part of becoming. Small things can make a big difference. Little things like preparing your clothes the night before you go to school or the night before you go to work, instead of just waking up and then figuring it all out. Oh my goodness, that takes you a long way. Just little refinements in your life can make a significant difference to how you show up each and every day. And so being that it is all about not only consistency, but having that discipline to keep doing what you need to do. Sometimes we think that, we have to just keep being the hamster in the wheel and get up and go and get up and go, but you're burning yourself out. I just watched a young lady, and I know I said I wasn't going to talk about celebrities, but I'll just say this young lady was talking about a celebrity, and she was talking about how her dad worked for that celebrity, and I might just clip a little bit of it in this video for context.
He is the heart and soul behind the Beyonce that you guys know, behind the performances and the shows put on by the Beyonce that you all know. There was an incident where, it's kind of complicated, but essentially he collapsed and he was having some issues with his neck, some impinged nerves. They had to take him to the hospital. He had to be taken off the residency. He came home. He ended up having to get surgery. It was a pretty big deal. My dad worked 22-hour days when he was on tour, and he'd be on tour for months at a time, traveling the world. So you go from airplane to tour bus to working 24-hour days, setting up, starting, closing down a show, sleeping for 3 hours, and then doing it in another city the next day. So my dad worked his ass off my entire life. And as a result, he ended up having some very extensive and severe physical traumas. And my dad got paid on a as work basis. So when there's no tours, there's no money. And so during those couple of years during COVID where there were no tours to be had, my dad had to use his savings to pay all my family's bills. And that ran out.
But long story short, she said that her dad dedicated 20 plus years in the business for a celebrity to help a celebrity brand themselves. And then when their health gave in and they had to get surgery and basically rehabilitate themselves, they were called back into work. And because they could not perform the same way that they did, the past 20 years that they had been performing, they were fired, they were terminated. And so that's devastating, because I know that there has been so many individuals, so many of our elders, so many of our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents who have dedicated their time, their lives, and their energy to the system, to the machine, to their work. And some people have nothing to show for it. And so I say, have something to show for it. Do not just give all of your time and your body and your energy into one thing, especially if it's not even your business. It's not your future. It's not anything in alignment with your growth. We give a lot of ourselves to others, and I'm not discouraging that. Make your money, do what you need to do. But also, where are your own protections? Where are your own insurances or insurance policies that will help you, or if not you, your family, be okay. Because I hate to hear this young lady say that she lost her childhood home. A lot of people are losing their childhood homes. A lot of people are being displaced. It's sad and it's sickening to know that this is happening. And the people with the big hearts, we want to do so much, but we've been strategically positioned in classism to not have enough to be able to help those that are in need. I say this all the time. When I used to do Instacart and deliver people's groceries, I'd get more tips or larger tips from the people who lived in apartment complexes and just, townhomes, condos, small single family houses. I got more of a blessing from those individuals than I did, if at all, from people who lived in mansions and multi-millionaire units. Like, I just don't know what that's about. And I know sometimes in order to become rich, you have to be stingy with your penny. But this is not about money or that financial currency. This is spiritual currency. Do unto others as you want done to yourself. Humility will take you such a long way. Humility will take you so very far. If you just take a second to just step back for a second. And I know that people can trigger you. I know things can trigger us to where we need to say something or do something or snap. But everything is a lesson, and the Most High is watching. You have to sometimes be open-minded about why a person is acting or behaving a certain way, especially when it comes to you and who you are. You might not feel like you are deserving of that energy or of that behavior, but some things are just a test of faith and a test of strength and a testament to who you are as an individual and your purpose. And so just keep that in mind as you are moving through life, as things are shifting around us, because most of what's happening we have no control over. But I know that the enemy is a lie, and it just wants to just have you outside of yourself. It's sad seeing all of these stars, come to their demise, I would say. I don't know. We put these stars on a pedestal, and some people have glorified them and worshiped them and idolized them. Oh my goodness, when we talk about idolatry, some people have idolized these people and taken what they've said for face value. And the truth be told, a lot of people are puppets being puppeteered to the masses to destroy us. And so now that we know, and now that we're kind of waking up to what's happening in our world, be the change that you wish to see and do something about it. I have done small changes, especially when it comes to my music and listening to secular music, just because the music is a frequency. And if you are tuned into the wrong frequency, then you are going to be a reflection of that frequency that you're listening to. And so I don't want to put anything or anyone on blast. Just be mindful. Maybe comb through your playlist and see what serves you and what does not serve you, because music is powerful. And people have done a lot of bad things, bad behavior just behind music. If you're feeling sad, what are you going to do? Listen to sad music. When you're feeling happy, you're going to listen to uplifting music. So keep that in mind when you're listening to something and you're trying to make progress, but you're wondering why I'm not making the progress that I thought I should be making. It's probably because of the music that you're listening to. So just go forth and just kind of just make small, subtle changes. I'm not saying, change your whole identity. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you want to manifest or you want to see an increase of abundance, and I had to be careful with saying abundance because you can have an abundance of bad and good, but if you want to see an increase of financial abundance, or you want to see an increase in your emotional resilience, in your financial wealth, in your spiritual peace, if you want to see abundance in those areas, then you have to properly prepare for those things. You have to set an intention and you have to do some type of planning, because regardless if things go to plan, at least you would have a blueprint set in stone or some type of guide or guideline to help you achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve or wanting to achieve, to get the opportunities that the Most High already has in store for you. Do not let your gifts and talents go dormant, because those gifts and talents will be taken away from you. Do not let what others have done to you cease and remove the joy in your heart, in your life. Do not let people take away the good in you. I just been observing when I go to the grocery store, I notice that my elders, they walk around with this frown, and you can tell that life has probably done the worst of the worst to them. They have probably seen so much and lost people in their lives, to where it visibly shows. And so what I want to say is, do not let the enemy take away your joy. Do not let the enemy steal away your joy and your peace, because there is so much freedom that you have that you just don't see yet. There's so much vitality, physical vitality within you that you just have not probably tapped into yet. And so time essentially is the biggest abundance, and time can be manipulated, whether you believe that or not. Time can be manipulated, and knowing that tomorrow is not promised, you want to be mindful and you want to be grateful of the time that we have. So I just want to also leave you with our scripture for this episode, because I just love this scripture, just for the simple fact that being able to complete this episode and this podcast, it just means so much to me. I'm not trying to rush through this moment, but if you only knew the things that not only I go through, but other people have been going through behind the scenes, this moment is so powerful for me. This moment is so important, because completion, and to be able to complete something, it's outstanding. And so I just want to close with this scripture. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Philippians chapter 1 verse 6. And this is kind of like a know thyself moment. You always hear people talk about completion, and people complete books, people complete podcast series, people complete movies, people complete so many things in their creative process. But when we talk about completion in life, the opposite of life is death. And so when you know or have an understanding that tomorrow is not promised, you must always ask yourself the question: if I were to die tomorrow, did I do exactly what I needed to do? Did I fulfill my life's purpose? Did I set forth on goals and missions? And did I see those things through? And if you think about that question and the answer is no, then that is good, because that means that you have more work to do. That means that your purpose has not fully been fulfilled. And so therefore you need to go back to the drawing board and outline what it is that you need to do to actually see it through and complete your life's journey and your life's purpose. I am so proud to be able to sit in front of you and have these conversations and talk to you about what's on my heart and my mind, because I am someone who has been through a lot. I am someone who is judged daily based on my disposition and how I carry myself. I feel like people challenge themselves to see me shake, to see me struggle, to see me kind of like get outside of myself or become nervous. I've had people just touch on me without my permission, and I've talked about that. I've had people just come into my space with no set intention. It's just to occupy my space because they know that I'm uncomfortable with that. And so at the end of it, at the end of my uncomfortability, I must channel back into love. I have to channel back into grace. I have to think about this moment is not just about me, but this person, being that they might have parasites, they might have demons, they might not know what it is that they're doing. I have to still carry myself how the Most High would see fit. I have to still honor myself, still protecting and honoring my boundaries, but also not being so egotistical and so shut off from the real world to where I don't give good energy. I don't give that positivity that people also need, because when you set the tone for that good behavior and you set the precedent for being an outstanding citizen or a good person with good principles, and you have that mental clarity to know that I'm going through so much right now. You have more than me, or what I perceive to have as more. You have so much more going on for you, but yet you come to me with your negativity and your derogatories. I know I'm winning. Somewhere in that, I'm winning, because, this conversation actually has been going on around me. And if we think about just coming into a new season, a wise person also said, if you don't have haters, then you're not doing something right. And so just with this and knowing that good works have been placed in us all, and it's up to us to carry it on to completion. We started off last year, 2025. I don't know if you remember, but Club Shay Shay set off YouTube with an interview with Cat Williams, an explosive interview.
All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
And he just basically, I don't want to go back into that again. I don't want to kind of put a light on celebrities right now, but I just want to say that interview that he did with Cat Williams, it set a tone, and it coincided with the Chinese New Year. And so I just want to say that sometimes you have to be open-minded. I'm an open-minded person who just happens to appreciate other cultures and other practices, spiritual practices. And so with the Chinese New Year just being around the corner, just shy 2 days, February 17th, it will be the year of the horse. And so leaving from the year of the snake, where a lot of people were exposed, things came out, things were revealed, things are still being revealed, but all of that is starting to subside, because now we are coming into a new season of spring and also a new year of the horse. I love the Chinese New Year. If you know about the Chinese New Year, with the 12 months, it also follows 12 animals. Okay. And so these animals were on a race and had to cross a body of water. And so with that, you have year one being the rat. Then you have the ox, you have the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake. And now we are in the horse, being that the horse symbolizes speed, freedom, and popularity. And so a lot of people have been on the bottom of this. When I say the bottom of like the social structure or hierarchy, a lot of people have been placed on the bottom. A lot of wrong has been done to individuals who were acting out in good faith and good behavior. And so I'm seeing a shift. I'm seeing that freedom and that speed of just exposing still happening. People are still going to be exposed. Bad behavior is still going to come to light. But if you ever felt like you were at the bottom of the spectrum and your back was against the wall, and that all of these people around you who are kind of exuding in bad behavior leverage themselves in popularity, that's all about to change for you. I promise you. You need to just be creative. You just need to set intentions. You need to keep being the good person that you are. Do not let the devil steal your joy. Do not let these demons interfere with your light. Know that not all light is good light. But when you are in any space of light, be resilient and be aware of what's going on around you, because I know for a fact that this year of the horse, it's going to be transformative. And it symbolizes, essentially, it does symbolize completion, because they say that cycles happen every 7 years, and 7 is an important number. If you know anything about numerology, 7 is a beautiful number that coincides with 9 as well. But when it comes to 7 and cycles happening in 7, I just see that this is like a change, a turn of events. And so let's get ready for it. In this winter healing series, we've done so much work. We've talked about so many things, and I just want to emphasize how grateful I am, how much love I feel. I feel so much love. I feel so much love, and I feel so much agency to continue to learn, to continue to do research, to continue to study, and to not close my heart. Because before this season, or before this series, I really felt like giving up. I felt like so much misunderstanding of who I am and who I was portraying myself to be to others. It was faced with so much backlash and so much rejection. And that's okay, because for all of those people who rejected me throughout this journey, I love them. I still love you. I love you for rejecting me, because that rejection, it taught me something, and it taught me how to love myself even more, and to complete things that I have set out for myself, because I know exactly who I am, and I know that I have work to do. And so I'm just going to leave this here with you, that we have come this far in our journey. It has been cold. It has been treacherous for some, and we've gone through so much together, but we are going to continue to bloom, and we are going to continue to refine ourselves, because we are becoming the new versions of ourselves that we so desire to be. And so don't let what you see in the blogs, and don't let what you see pop out in or pop up in your algorithm confuse you or misalign you, because they're just distractions. Again, I want to talk about polarity and the interconnectedness of two oppositional factors or traits existing in your life. But knowing who you are the balance. You are the beam. You are the foundation. And you need to know that before you go into any opportunity, before you walk into your workspace, before you go to school, before you get in your car. Know that you are the center of your universe. And so knowing that you are the center, you should stand strong and tall and proud of who you are and who you are becoming. I just want to say, before we close, I want to leave you with this affirmation. And I just love affirmations. I love affirming myself. I think affirmations are important because our minds can be so crowded and so loud, and every time you get a negative thought, you have to do everything you can to combat that negative thought with a positive one, and to not believe the negative thoughts that your mind tells you, because the mind is powerful and it can play tricks on you. But again, that is all part of you planting the seeds for your future. Now, our affirmation for this episode is I am becoming who I am meant to be. Okay? I am becoming who I am meant to be, and you are becoming who you are meant to be in divine timing. It might be happening slowly. You might have lost someone or something, but that does not mean that your life is over. I just want to say that I'm just so grateful, and I'm so at peace with things not going according to plan, but knowing that the Most High has so much in store for my life, it gives me that comfort that I need. And also, I just want to say that it's okay to be uncomfortable. A lot of people don't like uncomfortability and boredom. If you find yourself in a space where you are bored, I want you to observe how you act in your boredom. So when I say that, if you become bored and your first thing is to be impulsive, whether that is eating food or overeating or going out and spending, a lot of people are out in them stores with no sense of direction, nowhere to go, nowhere to be. Some people are out on the road just driving just because they cannot cope. So notice what you do when you are bored and try to fill those gaps with something creative or positive. Sometimes when you are bored, that is your green light for being lazy. That is your green light for rest. That is your green light for slowing things down. But when you are bored, do not be too impulsive to go and destroy what the Most High has already put in place for you. There is no such thing as perfect. We are all imperfect people, just learning as we go day by day. So give yourself grace for that. And also just know that someone told me that people are allowed to change. Now that may not be for the good or the better. And sometimes people change for the worse, but people are allowed to change. People are allowed to switch up, but it's up to you to know where you stand. And we are always standing 10 toes down on the ground. Okay. I just love you guys so much. I love that you have been here, moving through this space with me. I love that the people who have been watching this series, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for seeing me, for accepting me, for honoring me as I am. Because I wanted to show up in this space as my authentic self, no makeup, just me. I wanted to be able to be felt, seen, heard. There might be a time later on down the road where I might want to decorate myself, and I have that right because my ancestors, they used to decorate themselves, okay? And there is nothing wrong with putting your face on and having your adornments and wearing your best, okay? But when it's wintertime, it's cold. And so I just wanted to bring this to you, like you're at my house and we sitting on the couch or we're sitting at the table and we're talking. I want to show that you can come as you are and you can be met where you need to be met. And so I just say that here in the Rose Garden, you don't have to bloom to be worthy. You just have to be growing, and you have to continue to grow, and you have to continue to know that your cries are being heard. Your tears, they're not going unnoticed. You are being acknowledged. You might not be acknowledged by the people around you, and that's okay. We're not looking for their validation anymore. We're not looking for the people around us to meet us where we are. Sometimes you might surpass the people around you, and you have to leave some people behind. And if you're like me, I used to feel so guilty for making those decisions and making those calls where it's like, you know what, I gotta let you go. Sometimes I've asked Spirit to just remove people from my life, just so that I could have that clarity, moving forward to kind of just recognize, why was this person in my life to begin with? What were you showing me? What act of bravery did I need to face in order to know, like, okay, you may not have been the best person to me, but because of the relationship, I've learned so much, and I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful. So with this coming to the end of this episode, because I don't want to drag this out, I hope that someone feels encouraged by this message. And again, I just want you to keep going and keep being who you are unapologetically. For more information regarding this episode, please be sure to check out my newsletter at heyrosebuds.com, where you can find weekly rose care practices, especially being the weekly rose care practice for week 7, episode 7. I'm just so blessed to be in this space of completion. I'm so excited, if you can't tell. And just thank you for spending time in the rose garden, where healing isn't loud, it's layered, gentle, and personal. Rosebuds, I love you. Do not give up. Do not be afraid. Walk by faith, not by sight, and complete your mission. Complete what it is that you are set out to do. Do not think that someone is doing better than you, or that people have more than what you have. You have exactly what you need. The Most High only gives you what you can carry. And so I say that to say, start planning, start organizing, start drafting what it is that you want to see manifest. Start setting those intentions and aiming to reach your better self, your higher self, because you never know where the Most High, where God can lead you. And just because there's so much negativity happening around you does not mean that you need to be a part of that negativity. And you don't have to jump on the bandwagon of anything that you do not want to do, or that doesn't align with you. And so I love you. This is not the end at all, but I'm just so juiced. I'm so excited for this spring season, okay? I'm excited for the sun, and I'm excited for the rain. I love the rain. I feel like there's something so pure about when it rains. And so I know that a lot of people have been in a drought season, but that season is no longer. We not drying out no more, okay? The rose is forming its buds, and we are preparing to bloom, becoming the new versions of ourselves that we so desire to be. I love you with all my heart. I thank you. God bless you. And I just wish you peace, healing, and understanding as you move forward in your life and your life's journey. And always remember, when life gives you thorns, search for roses. Peace.